you for tuning in. Please like, turn on notifications, subscribe, or share. Want to be a guest? Email podcast@tricountyareachamber.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we start every show, please take a look at the mission and vision partners that we are very honored to be able to recognize. These 16 companies have been supporting us since January, providing their financial support, enabling the Tri-County Area Chamber of Commerce to continue to do our good work in following our mission and vision and providing programs and services to our over 400 members. Again, they are great partners with us, board members, community supporters. Some of them probably support some of you that are watching and their organizations, and just great to have them be part of this organization and helping us. So again, just a special thank you to our mission and vision partners for 2021. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Eileen Doutrick. I'm president of the Tri-County Area Chamber of Commerce, and this is going to be my From the President's Desk segment. I would like to share with everyone just an update. It's incredible to think that we are already through season 5 of Chamber Chat Live. This Chamber Chat program has progressed so much, and we are so excited to continue to look at the program, seek new opportunities, and figure out how this medium can best serve our membership. So we are going to take a pause for the month of April, and we're going to go on a little hiatus, spend some time in April working on just where we want the program to go, what's next for Chamber Chat Live. So today will actually be our last show of season 5, end of the month. So we will have one more show on April 7th, so I'm going back on my word. Bill Vitiello and I, Bill is our normal host, and myself are going to do a show regarding the Chamber's new website. We redesigned our website. It goes live tomorrow, and we are going to do a show to just kind of highlight some of those things that are new and opportunities for our members, as well as community members visiting our site. So to get us started, as you know, we've been spending March with myself and typically Danielle hosting the show, but Danielle's up to her eyeballs in getting ready for the launch of the new website tomorrow. So I'm going to be doing today's show. Again, this is finishing out Women's History Month, so we've been focusing on women business owners in our membership. So with that, I would like to introduce today's guest. Today we have with us Kristi Gage of Gage Personnel. Hi, Kristi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for having me today.
Thank you for coming on. We're excited for the opportunity, as has been shared with you and we share on our shows. Great opportunity for our chamber members just to share their story. So we're happy you're taking advantage of this opportunity, and hopefully we can introduce some new individuals to Gage and your services.
Be wonderful. Thank you.
So I know from your website, you are a 30-plus year old company. So can you give us a little history about Gage Personnel?
Sure. Yeah. This year, as a matter of fact, we're proud to be celebrating our 35th year in business. So it's interesting to say that when I also tell people in the same breath, I'm the third generation. How did that happen? You know? So the history behind it, and yes, we are a women-owned business, so we're super proud of that. My grandmother started the business, but she started it at the age of 65.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was when staffing firms were really becoming popular. She had actually worked for a national brand called Manpower. Most people are familiar with Manpower. And she had lost her job, and her being, you know, the feisty person that she was, she said, I can do this. And she started her own business, and it started in downtown Reading as Gage Handy Services. At that time, she focused on, you know, office placements primarily, but the business grew, and it grew quickly. And that's when the second generation jumped in to help, which happened to be my mother, Gwen Gage. So Donna Gage founded the business. Gwen Gage, who was her daughter-in-law, jumped into the business, thinking she was just going to help temporarily until she wasn't needed any longer. At the time when she was raising myself and my sister, who was maybe only 1 and 2 years old at the time, but she never left. And Gwen started really developing the business into what it is today. 5 years later, Bill, my dad, joined the business in 1990. And they ran the show. And then I finally jumped into the business after taking a pivot after college. I went and worked for a city municipality in HR. I was able to utilize my bilingual skills. I jumped into risk and safety with my insurance license. So I had a couple different career plans, but what I really wanted to was be able to impact the community, work with people, and my path led me here because what better way to work with people and the community than working for our family staffing firm. So that's a little bit of the history. And here we are 35 years later. I've been here full time since 2008, but I did do evening work where I had my other career since 2006. So it's been fun.
Wow, that's a big history. So I have to ask you, because I always find it interesting, and we actually did a session here with some of our chamber members a couple years ago, sort of a round table, what the dynamics of a family owned business. I think the quote I've heard before is, you go from working and then, whatever issues may produce themselves, and then you have to get around the Thanksgiving table, so
Yes.
What challenges does that present, and how have you coped with those over the years?
That's a very good question, and we've definitely had our ups and downs. I will say I wasn't fully prepared for working in the family business and what it would mean, and not even understanding that I would be then working 24/7 because you just can't turn it off. But I do a really good job of trying to shut it down when, we're at the holidays, sitting around the family table. But I think where we've come to kind of grow together as a family and as a core leadership team is I have emerged as the realist. Gwen will be the ever optimist and Bill is the pessimist. So we kind of balance each other out in a way. But we definitely all have different viewpoints, ways of leading the company. And, the more that I was able to earn their trust and our team's trust over the years, it's become a lot easier. And I think that was the biggest challenge, and maybe that's my biggest advice to the family run businesses, to the, older generation and the younger generation. Just learn to trust one another, ask questions, be transparent. And we started asking ourselves questions every year, just to make sure we're all still on the same page. So we just revisit it frequently, and if not weekly. So, yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
So, I think staffing and just, that area means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So what are Gage's typical services that you provide?
Sure. And I will say our business has evolved over time and continues to evolve with the market. We know that the market right now is very interesting. So primarily over the years, our core business has been manufacturing here in the local area, Berks County. We're surrounded by more than 500 manufacturers, and it's such a strong part of our region. And then, of course, we do have our office professional division, and there's a lot of people that don't realize that we do that. So that is that's probably our fastest growing division right now. So it's administrative, clerical, professional, executive search. We do it all. And we're really gaining some work there in various industries. And we do have a lead in that division as well, our Gage Professionals division. We do have 4 official divisions. We do have our Gage Staffing, which is more of the temp work and manufacturing that I'm referring to. Gage Professionals division is what I was just referring to as our office placements and executive placements. We also do offer a recruitment process outsourcing and consulting division, which we may be able to assist HR professionals that are already hiring on their own, just take some of that busy work off their plates.
Okay.
We have our skilled trades division, where we're doing a lot of direct hire placements there as well. Maintenance, mechanics, supervisory, all of that. And then we have our hospitality division. Of course, that's taken a hit with the market too right now.
Sure.
But when events, start happening again, we're on standby. So yeah, we've really branched out and are doing great. Our team's doing great trying to maintain all the divisions, and we're just waiting for another shift in the market. There's tons of jobs. We just, want to connect people with them.
So yes, and I know there are tons of jobs, and I have a question about that in a moment, but how has the virtual world impacted what you do?
Yes, so that was interesting. March of last year, we were deemed a non-essential business, which I think took, everybody was being taken by surprise by what was going on. I can't believe it's been a whole year since the pandemic started. But being deemed a non-essential employer when in fact we are placing essential employees with, large manufacturers, large corporations that have, the folks working for them, government approved, but we were told we had to close our doors. So overnight, we were able to get our staff hooked up. We have a wonderful IT team that we work with. We got our staff hooked up to work from home. We did have several of our employees still having to come in and run payroll because number one, we want to take care of our employees and make sure they get paid. So we made it work, but we also, as difficult as it was at the time, it forced us to make some much needed changes that we had just kept putting off, including our online application. Why did it take so long? It just took, a pandemic emergency to get it going. So it's really helped us to streamline quite a bit. We've become very efficient with regard to that. And, it's forced us to do more creative things. We were probably amongst the first businesses to do the curbside and pop-up job fairs. We got back in the office as soon as we could. We're here now. I know a lot of people are still working from home. We have a couple of pop-up tents, so people can look for us all over town, whether it's, downtown in the city or in front of large employers that we partner with. We work with a lot of great companies that most people that are listening, you probably already know their names and their brands. And, we're here to just help you get your foot in the door. We're not going to slow down what we are doing just because of what's going on around us. We will continue to do things safely and keep things moving.
Yes, I definitely think it's, one of the things that I've told people and talking with them, going through the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic, the one thing that's been so motivating for me is to watch our small businesses pivot and to really just figure out what they needed to do. And those that really have an entrepreneurial spirit, and have been run over the years or started through that entrepreneurial spirit have really just run, they've rolled with the punches and they have figured it out. And, so kudos to you, on doing that and doing what you needed to do, not only for your employees that work for Gage specifically and the services you provide, but all those that you're providing services to outside of, through employment, either on the job seeker side or the employer side. So, big question. You mentioned the job market, very, very strange right now. A lot of people out there, some people not seeking work. There's that big unemployment question, that hangs out there. So what industries, if people are looking and are listening to today's show, where are the jobs most needed?
Sure. And I'll kind of answer that in two parts. So I think the interesting part, and you'll hear me focus on Berks County a lot, that's where our corporate office is based. Right. We do have additional offices in Lancaster County, and we do a lot of our professional recruitment as well in the Tri-County area. So we're definitely, throughout the region. The biggest push right now, I'm seeing manufacturers hiring rapidly, and the pay rates are increasing rapidly just because there's so much competition in the market. What they're trying to do is create that sustainable workforce that will help the companies be successful, remain successful, and stay here in our communities. But at the same time, I'm finding so many other businesses beginning to add on to, their HR talent, because talent acquisition is a hot topic right now. So they're building their team strategically. They're building their marketing teams to try to get word out and make themselves, present to the community as a premier employer. That's so important right now, because the truth of the matter is, even right here in Berks, there's more than 15,000 unemployed people. how can we get them off the bench and able to get back to work? And there's various reasons. People can't get to work because childcare has been an issue, with schools still virtual in most cases. There's the federal unemployment wages. If a job's not going to pay enough, it might make more sense for them to wait a little while longer. They might be in a career already and not ready to make a change unless they know, that the employer really is going to offer better pay, better benefits, better culture. So those are 3 hot topics right now for almost every single employer. And, as I mentioned earlier, we have jobs galore. We have great jobs. People can pretty much come and take their pick. The biggest thing that I would hope to accomplish today through just conversation is we're not just a temp agency, and that's the stigma that we try to break and need to break. We are literally a connector. We can be that catalyst to help job seekers get their foot in the door. They can essentially interview employers through us at no fee. We literally just let them know what the job's about, what the company's about, get them connected. If they like it, fantastic. If they don't, they walk away, no strings attached. So that's the biggest thing I'd love to help people understand. We can do the temp project work, of course. We do the temp to hire. That's a big thing. You can try out the company and the company can try you out. But we do a lot more direct hiring now more than ever because employers know they have to get people in their door and retain them. So does that answer your question in a roundabout way?
No, it does. And I think, 2 things there, on the job seeker side, I think it's, beneficial for some individuals to work with an organization like yours because, you mentioned the connector, and that's how we define ourselves, as a chamber of commerce. And it truly, again, we will always state that it's about the relationships. It's not about the sale. It's about the relationships that you're able to build through an organization like ours or other organizations similar to us. And I think that's what you offer to the job seekers. You've already built those relationships with those employers. So it's not just trying out, filling out every, piece of, whether it's Indeed or Glassdoor, whatever those websites are. If you can go to a starting point where they already have relationships, they know what those companies are looking for. That's a huge advantage to those individuals. And on the flip side, it's, I would imagine, a huge time saver. You just mentioned the pieces or the steps that you can complete in the hiring process. I know from personal experience, hiring it's a lot. It's time consuming, especially, we're a small office, I have many jobs many hats I'm supposed to wear. HR is one of them, and I do not consider myself overly qualified in that area. So, I think that is huge for an employer to also recognize. So on the business side of things, we're obviously a business organization. We hope businesses are listening today. What would be your guide for them, as a first step to maybe looking at turning over those responsibilities to an organization like yours?
Sure. First and foremost, I would let the employers know that even if they just need to bounce thoughts or ideas off of a staffing firm like ours, and notice I said staffing firm and not temp agency. We're a staffing firm and we do it all. We are a partner. We're a true partner with essentially boots on the ground. We're meeting the candidates first and foremost. We're talking to people about what their wants and needs are. And we're able to deliver that direct and candid feedback back to the employers themselves. Oftentimes they may not hear from, why aren't you applying with our company? They don't know. They're just not getting the applicants. If they are, they're not having people show up. So there's definitely a benefit to having someone like us on your side that can deliver that feedback. And sometimes it's great feedback, sometimes it's not so pretty, but it helps you as an employer understand where you might, line up with other employers in our community, and not just in our community, across the country. I'm getting tons of feedback from partnerships that we are in. We're in TempNet, it's a National Staffing Association, American Staffing Association, amongst other things. We're getting that feedback that every single employer across the country is seeing the same challenges right now. So it's also sometimes nice to know that it's not just you.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. It's, again, that industry perspective, and that's something that, again, an employer wearing multiple hats is not getting that type of data or information, that working with a group like yours, can provide.
Mm-hmm.
So in that work that you do, what is the most rewarding thing? What is the thing that you like the most about coming to work every day?
It's the people. We wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the people. It's why I jumped in with both feet into the business in the recruiting world, getting involved with the community, the employees. It's such a rewarding career. It really is. It has its pitfalls when people don't go to work. You wonder, what am I doing wrong? But at the same time, we have to celebrate our successes and just keep connecting people, because at the end of the day, the big picture is we're creating a more sustainable community by creating a sustainable workforce and keeping our employers here and not shipping jobs, outside of our community, outside of our state, outside of our country. So our work is important.
That is great, and I appreciate that information. We're coming up on the end of our show, so let's share your contact information. I know Drew's been putting your website and has brought your website up and has it flashing across the bottom of the screen. How else can people who are interested either on the job seeker or the employer side find you?
Sure. For job seekers, you can certainly email your resume to us. We won't make you go through the whole, application process unless you are interested. You can email us at jobs@gagepersonnel.com, and in the headline, simply, share what sort of work you're looking for. We'll get you connected with the appropriate recruiter in one of our divisions. So either the office professional, executive search, skilled trades, manufacturing, light industrial, or other. You can also call or text us. So that's 610-376-1771. Our website, you can just go on our job board. We've got that. If you click there, search jobs now, it would show you the jobs in all the regions, gives you an idea of what we can do. But we have so many jobs, we're not updating that daily. It's more of if you want to know what's hot, you better email us. For employers and job seekers, if you want to reach out to me directly, I'll certainly give you my work email address. It is k.gage@gagepersonnel.com. And I'd be happy to help you, especially for those job seekers that are looking for a confidential search. I'm happy to work with you directly and just make sure you're more comfortable with the process. And employers, if you just want to test the waters and see what's out there, I'm happy to have a side conversation with you too. Again, no strings attached. We're just literally here to try and help. And hopefully we come out of this crazy time soon and get people back to work safely and swiftly.
Well, and again, fortunately, unfortunately, the timing of your show is very appropriate. We are in strange times, right now. We continue to hear from members, they're looking to hire, they're struggling to hire, so whatever we can do to try and partner those open jobs with the people who, are really needing them and want them, we want to do. So I hope we get some outreach from people who are watching today's show, or that see it, further in some of the posts that we do, and reach out and, look for your services. So thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate your time and sharing your story. We wish you continued success.
Thank you.
And again, thank you to Kristi for coming on today and sharing the Gage story.
Thank you.
Great to see you. Just one more thank you to our 2021 Mission and Vision partners. And we look forward to our next show on April 7th.
Thank you for tuning in. Please like, turn on notifications, subscribe, or share. Want to be a guest? Email podcast@tricountyareachamber.com.